I'm Scott Moran with People's Choice Home Inspection Service, and we're here in Northwest Indiana looking at a house where another project by a contractor has gone bad. We're going to be looking at plumbing, electrical, heating, structural repairs that were made or not supposed to be made, and we're going to find out exactly what's going on with this home, with this homeowner.
Okay, Scott, should I be able to see light coming in like that? Should that be sealed off?
Well, if you can see light from outside, you got a potential for water to come in. So definitely that should be sealed. The other issue here is you see the insulation is touching the actual flue pipe. It needs to be 1 inch to 2 inches away from that. So this is all wrong.
Okay.
This needs to be corrected.
Okay.
Mike, you mentioned to me on the phone that your heating bills are just astronomical.
Yes.
Okay, every month. Was they supposed to insulate the walls, or?
No, we weren't contracted. They weren't contracted to do so.
Okay. Well, one of the things you have here, you see the way that this is designed. This is called balloon framing, which means that if I look down in here, I could basically see the basement.
Right.
Okay, so there is no type of insulation on your outside walls. So that's going to be one of the reasons why you have such a great heat loss. The other thing that's an issue here is this rolled back fiberglass insulation on between your rafters. You have a 2x6 rafter, and they're running 6 inches of insulation. Now the reason why that's an issue is because the air can't get above the actual insulation and cause the underside of the roof to breathe. So we've got insulation just jammed in here, and it's not good.
And then it's over insulated now?
Well, it's not properly insulated.
Okay.
It's not properly insulated, okay? Because insulation is good, but we also need ventilation. We need air movement, because if we don't have air movement, it's going to reduce the life of the span of the roof. It's going to cause mildew, mold buildup, sweating, condensation, and a whole host of other things. Okay. So this
so
is
that would be a
with.
health hazard, a safe and healthy hazard?
In the long run, it could be an issue, but this is something that's going to have to be dealt with. Okay. Okay. Mike, going back to your heat loss and the issues that you're having there, this ductwork should have been insulated, and that would have been insulated from interior, okay, which is actually, it's a more expensive ductwork. And so what they did to compensate, they actually ran a standard ductwork, and then they took this wrap, as you see here, and tried to insulate it. Oh. Not going to work. Not going to work. So you're losing heat through all of this, and because your ductwork is not vented, insulated properly, you also have an AC up here.
Yes. Okay.
We don't have proper ventilation in the attic, so it's going to get really hot. You got an A coil inside of your plenum over there that's going to run about 50-55 degrees, and it's going to have to fight about 100-130 degree temperature inside this attic to do so. So now you're fighting against yourself. Again, going back to your ventilation, that's going to help your EC up here. Another reason why you have to have it. This is all wrong.
Okay.
So basically, they put this here as like a window seat.
Yes.
And then they put drywall on here for you to sit on. Not good. This is what happens. This actually should be a plywood, a stained or finished plywood, something solid. But if you'll also look inside the hole, Mike, you can see they ran that ductwork uninsulated. Now they only insulated it over there where you could actually see it. So all the areas that run underneath the walls and the ceilings, they actually didn't insulate any of that.
Okay.
So again, well, it's again, you're fighting your colds and your temperatures. You're fighting each other, and that's also going to draw condensation because the ductwork should be insulated. So Jerry, how's the electrical look?
There's about 6 items. That's about it. Otherwise, it was done professionally by a good contractor. Good. You've got the ground system through the whole house because it's either in conduit or it is in flex, which by Hammond standards, that's what you're supposed to have.
Fantastic.
The panel looks good. Everything checked out fine.
So you took the whole cover off the panel and looked at all that? Double tabs?
Everything's, no double tabs. They've got a 40 circuit panel. They use 33 circuits.
Fantastic.
So they've got it broke down the way that it should be broke down. We're missing, a couple smoke detectors. Homeowner might have removed them. I don't know, but so bulbs burn out. Yeah, bulbs burn out. Like I said, it's maybe 6 items. So everything's good. If you go down to the basement, you can really see the workmanship that they put into it with their bends. Everything runs straight. So usually if you come up with that, that's a real good indication of what is in the walls.
Okay.
So everything looks good.
Fantastic. So, finding stickers or anything?
There is on the panel down there is a sticker from the building department of Hammond for the electrical inspection, and it was dated 10/22/08, I believe it is.
Okay.
So it was actually inspected by the town of Hammond. So I mean, everything is everything is good.
Inspected. We had a professional electrician come in, so no problems. And that's what happens. That's what happens when you have professionals.
Yes.
And you do it right, and you have it inspected.
Correct.
So
that's why you have it inspected and permits and so on.
Absolutely. So nothing really that needs to be done on electrical.
No.
Okay.
No, you're good to go.
Very good, Jerry. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Here we are in a kid's bedroom, and obviously they have plastic over the windows because they're drafty. So let's take a look. Not only are they drafty, this house was built in the early 1900s. And you can see, obviously, the reason why it's drafty is the glass itself is loose. The glazing around the window that holds the window in is all deteriorated and cracked. But the window, you got a lot of paint peeling in here, and obviously you have lead-based paint. Now, you need a lead professional to remove this window and replace it. So, Kevin, what did you find on the plumbing?
Okay, well, there's several issues just in regards with the water heaters. With the water heaters, you have, first of all, you have relief drops that are not to code. The relief drops must go all the way down and stop within 6 inches of the floor, so that way it's more of a safety issue. If it was to blow, it cannot scald somebody. That's one issue. The other issue is on your cold inlets coming into a water heater, there must be a shutoff valve installed at each water heater.
Okay.
They do have one, but it is up way back there in the ceiling, which is, again, that's not code. The code requires it to be on the inlet of each actual heater. Another issue when it comes to the water heaters is if you're going to run water heaters in tandem, in order for the system to work properly, everything must be split evenly. The hot, they did perfectly fine. You've got a center, you've got approximately 10 to 12 inches across, and they drop in. Your cold, on the other hand, they dropped it directly in, and then they fed across here.
Okay.
What that causes is water is going to take the path of least resistance. If it's longer to get here than it is to get here, this heater is going to do 90% of the work.
There you go. Okay.
Causing this heater to very rarely run. Again, like it should function as a tandem.
We're going to end up bringing in the town that we're in. We'll bring out the plumbing inspector, and
Correct.
he can tell us, if this is code or not. Because basically, we go off of BOCA code.
Correct.
Okay.
BOCA code is what your general rules are. That's what your starting point per se. Then you've got your county law, Lake County, for instance,
Sure.
their actual rules, and then you've got your local municipalities,
Right.
which are all different.
Right.
So it really just depends. Like I said, most of the towns are now allowing the PEX tubing.
Okay.
But again, it depends on the individual.
Right.
That's something that has to be checked with the particular town, and then they will let you know whether they're going to accept it or not.
So this may be able to stay and may have to all be tore out. We don't know at this particular point.
Until an inspector comes in.
But there's
Now,
definitely some noted repairs you indicated.
Right. If it is allowed to stay, per code, all PEX tubing or CPVC tubing for that matter must be secured properly.
Right.
This particular pipe is just basically dangling there.
Sure.
If you come over to, say, the hot line, you have your actual hangers approximately every 36 inches, which is what is required.
Okay.
So this particular, and out of all of it that I've seen, this is really the only one that I noticed that is standing out to me. I mean, it's just obviously dangling there.
But is there any other large plumbing issues that you saw that really need to be addressed?
The other issue is on this 3-compartment sink over here.
Okay.